Hi friends, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative. I'm here with more card making ideas for you. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm in a Christmas mood. We're making Christmas cards. I'm going to use the Sentimental Wishes suite. So it's a set of stamps, and I'm going to focus on the cute stocking today. I've got the dies. I'm going to use one of the dies today, and I'm using some of the really fun paper. I'm going to show you one card, but two ways. One's more simple stamping, and one has a little more stepped up. But the papers with this set are gorgeous. And this is the give back item this year. So when you buy this paper, Stampin' Up! Will be donating, I think it's $3.50 for every pack back to children's literacy. So it's a great give back. Let me move my camera down here and start to do some stamping. So the first thing I want to do is I've got real red. I'm going to use a real red card base as well. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to ink up the stocking, and I have a piece of cardstock here that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's going to fit perfectly and give me a red frame on my card base. And what I'm going to do first is just stamp. I'm going to start by stamping 2 stockings right in a row. And then I'm going to stamp a third one that I'm going to die cut. Okay, just like that. And you can tell this is a scrap. I've already been cutting other things out of there. Now inside the card, I've already got a panel ready to go here. I wanted to put out of the same set, I'm using the Wishing You Joy and Happiness. I'm going to stamp that in real red. Okay. And then the other thing I was thinking about doing is I've got my garden green here, and it kind of goes with the paper that's going to be on the front. I'm going to put this spray of holly on the inside. Just another little, added, oh, I got a little ink there. Added surprise when somebody opens this card. And I should be done with my ink for now, so I'm going to put this away. And the only thing I'm going to do different to the inside is I'm going to take one of my Stampin' Blends and just color in the berries. So I'm going to make this red and green to match the front of the card, and it kind of ties in with the stockings and the themes of the paper. So I've got a couple berries up here, and there's one right there. So now I've just given it a little pop. If you want, this is always fun. I can't resist. I'm just going to drag a little bit of the green ink with my Wink of Stella and shade in these leaves. This is just an extra touch. Totally not required. If you like to do just a little bit of coloring though, this is one way to do it. So that was fun. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is grab my Stampin' Emboss machine, and I want to die cut this out, and then I can begin assembling cards and show you what I mean by simple and then stepped up. So first thing, get my machine. In fact, what I'm going to do is show you right now because I had this prepped. I had a piece of paper that came out of that set, and I've already die cut. So this is to show you that this die will cut out the design. Okay, so I already have a really pretty, it looks watercolored design, and I'm going to use that for the card, one card, and then I'm going to use this for another card. So what I'm going to do is make my sandwich here. I'm going to line up this die right on top of my stamped image. These are number 3 plates. Put this on top. I didn't move it, thought I wiggled it, and run it through. Okay, and now I'm going to get this part out of my way. The only other thing that I die cut ahead of time was an oval, and you'll see how I'm going to use that. Okay, so now I have the stocking. So I have a choice. I have 2 stockings. One obviously has more color because it was punched out of the paper, and one has, it's just red and white. Goes with my theme today. So I'm going to make this one pop a little bit. I'm going to smush some of the color here, maybe hit a little color tint on the candy canes. I'm just picking up some ink from the greenery, what would be greenery, it's red now, because I've done this in red and white. And I think I'm going to grab just a hint of color here too. If I wanted to add more color, I think everybody knows this trick. Grab just a little bit of ink. I'll go ahead and do the heel and the toe this way. And just a little touch of watercolor to give it a little bit of depth. And I don't want to color this whole thing in. I'm really trying to leave it just tone on tone, keep it simple. And then maybe some of the ribbon here, give it just it's almost pink. I'm just giving it this little bitty hint of color. Okay, this is supposed to be simple, so I'm going to keep it simple. Now, I'm going to use the die cut piece first. So here's what I've done. I've got a red card base. I went ahead to save time and noise from the heat embossing tool. And I just stamped Season's Greetings. I used my Versamark, stamped that, added the white powder, and melted it. So I now have a piece of cardstock or a piece of designer paper. I'm going to use this green oval. A circle would look cute coming off to the side as well. And then I'm going to put my colorful stocking right on top of there. And pretty much that can be the card just like that. So let me grab my glue. Let me grab this full glue. It'll be a little easier to work with. For this card, I did pre-stamp it just like the other one. So it says wishing you happiness, and it has the holly on the inside, which definitely ties in. Okay, so I've got enough glue there to hold this in place. Give it a press. I'm now going to, and this would have been cute too, but I think I'm covering up too much of the candy cane, so I really like the other side better. I'm going to glue this down. And I didn't grab my stamp and seal. I'm just using liquid glue today. Okay, and so I do want to leave a border, and that's going to get covered up on all sides. That works. And now I have to make a decision. I think I'm going to put this flat. I could put the dimensionals under this whole thing and pop that oval right off, but I think I like the idea of putting this flat, and then I'm going to use dimensionals under the stocking itself to make that pop up. So all I'm doing is covering where I punched this out. I find this is a good way to use what would have been a scrap after I've die cut something like this, is to find a way to cover it and, you know, where you punched out, and use it just like this. I could have made this a little smaller and put a frame behind it, you know, in green, or I mean, there's just so many things you can do with this. I was trying to keep this one just a simple example. So I've done a little die cutting and just a little bit of stamping. I could have easily stamped that in green too. I'm using garden green and red. Those are my two primary colors here. And then put that on there. Now I will add just a little bit of sparkle here. I'm going to pull out some rhinestones and just sprinkle, I think, right onto my oval here. Oh, I didn't mean for it to go quite that far over. And then one down here. And then, of course, I could still take and give this a little shimmer. So I'll give the stocking a little bit of a shine, and maybe some of the packages and the candy canes, just so that when somebody holds this up, they're going to say, oh, isn't that pretty? It has a little extra sparkle. The other thing you could do is add a bow, and I've got a couple different bows, so we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I'm going to assemble the second card a different method. So you know I've already done more stamping, I've done my die cutting, and I've got my card insert. So I'm going to start on the inside and work my way up, out. Okay. And glue this down. And I decided to turn this card horizontal. So it's, again, just, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. I am going to, I think what I want to do is put a little color on the edge. I love to do this. Just kind of drag it through there. The more you angle it, the more it'll go up on the edge. But I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the cut edges of my designer paper. Yep, I missed a corner right there. But now I'll spin this so that it shows. It just has a little bit of a red edge. I could have made it more, but it's just enough to give it a little definition. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down as my base. And because the liquid glue is right here, I'll just keep on using it. But your Stampin' Seal would work just as well, and some in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to put this across the front and leave a red border on all 4 sides. All right, and now I'm going to run a strip of my designer paper across this way, and then I'm going to put my 3rd stocking here. And I did forget to stamp one more thing, and it's sitting right here. Now that I've glued it down, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my season's greetings. So I'm using Real Red, staying with my theme. I do want to get this low. I would have done this before if I had remembered, but it's fine. You can see this is a nice flat surface, so it's easy to stamp. So now I'm going to add my strip, and then I'm going to pop this off the top. And what I'm seeing now is I should have moved my stockings over. So another thought would have been to put a stamp on either side and then put my die cut in the middle. I mean, either way, it's crafting. Every card is going to be different and unique, and that's what makes it so much fun. So let's put this strip going across. And it's the same length as my base. And then I've got my dimensionals sitting right here. I'm going to go ahead and make this elevated off of the card base. And that should be good to hold it, just 5. So let me pull those off and then put this over here. And let me see if I've got this the way I want it. I could have, looks like it goes uphill just a little bit. Either that or it's the way I'm holding the card. So what I've done, 2 different methods. Simple, I've die cut. You could fussy cut this. You don't need the dies. You could just take a pair of scissors and cut that image out and still be able to use a section of the paper. And then it says, wishing you joy and happiness on the inside. This one, I did more stamping. I did die cut. I kept this very simple. I did die cut a red bow, so I need to decide if I'm going to put something else on here. I could add a red bow, and that's kind of sweet. I have tied some ribbon. I could put ribbon on here and add that. I could put ribbon over here. There's just a lot of different ways I could go with this card. Right now, I'm leaning toward, I think I want to fill this space right here. I'm going to put that bow over there. And so I need a quick glue dot. And this is what we call designing on the fly. And I'm going to put 2 glue dots behind this to make sure that it stays put. If the glue dot will come off my fingernail. There we go. And just put it above the holly right there. Okay, so now that's my second card. 2 cards, 2 ways, using the Sentimental Wishes set. If you like the products and the projects that you've seen here, you can find me at Carolina Creative or hashtag Carolina Creative. I'm also on the Stampin' Up! Network, Renee Keese at stampinup.net. Thanks for joining in today. Stay tuned for the next video.